Lesson 1.4 on integers and absolute values, learning to compare and order integers and to evaluate expressions containing absolute value. Integers are the set of whole numbers and their opposites, so both positives, negatives, or negatives and positives. Opposites, or additive inverses, are numbers that are the same distance from 0, but on opposite sides of 0 on the number line. So if we have 0 in the middle, we can move to your right, okay, to the positive side, or to your left to the negative side, okay? But we're just looking at distance from 0. So first, if we're just going to compare using greater than, less than, or equal signs. Aaron's score is 4, Felicity's score is -1. Which one's larger if I put 0 in the middle, moving to the right for positive and to the left for negative? Keeping in mind that numbers farthest to the left are always smaller. So a number line is probably the easiest way to do this. You could also use a thermometer going vertically. Sometimes that makes more sense. So if I plot -1 and 4, -1 is to the left, therefore -1 is less than 4. Again, another application. List the golf scores in order from the lowest to the highest. The scores are -4, 2, 5, and -3. Let's go ahead and make a number line again. And if I just plot those scores, just the order that they're given, then I can just order them. -4, -3, 2, 5, moving left to right. I can continue just in regular applications with numbers, ordering from left to right. I can compare each one instead of drawing a full number line. I can just compare them. -5 is great, or sorry, 8 is greater than -5. 8 is also greater than 4, and -5 is less than 4. So we just have to compare each number with the other, so 3 different comparisons, and then put them into a line. -5, 4, and 8. Okay, additive inverses, that's when I was talking about 0 in the middle and moving to the left or the right of 0. So the additive inverse, when you add them together, you're going to end up with a final answer of 0. So the additive inverse of 6, what can I add to 6 to get me to 0, would be the opposite side of 0, which would be -6. -14, now I'm to the left of 0 over here, so I'm going to have to add something that's on the right of 0 in order to find the additive inverse, so that's going to be +14. 0.5, yes, it's a decimal, but it's the same process. 0.5 is just a little bit to the right of 0, so what's just a little bit or a half to the left of 0? -0.5. Okay, absolute value. It's distance from 0 on a number line. Absolute value is always positive or 0 because distance cannot be negative. The absolute value of -4 is written as those double bar lines around -4. The additive inverses have the same absolute value. So if I stand here and I move to the right 5 steps, if I just want to know the distance, that's 5 steps. I could also stand in the middle and move to the left 5 steps, but if I just want to know the distance, that's 5 steps. Direction is the positive or the negative. So here on a number line, I can look at the 4, the absolute value of 4 and the absolute value of -4. They're both 4 steps away from that 0 in the middle. And if we just use the absolute value bar lines, they have the same distance. So they're all equal to each other. So let's look at a couple examples. Simplify each expression, the absolute value of -8 plus the absolute value of -5. Absolute values are kind of like grouping symbols. You need to solve them first. So the absolute value of -8, it's 8 units from 0, so it's just +8. And the absolute value of -5, again, 5 units away from 0, so it's just 5. Now I've got my grouping symbols taken care of. I can just perform the arithmetic and add those together to get 13. On example B, 5 minus 6, the absolute value of that, I'm going to go ahead and work within the absolute value markers and then get a final answer. So I'm going to perform 5 minus 6 first. If you need to use a number line, please do that. 5 minus 6, if I'm starting over here at 5 and moving to the left because I'm subtracting 6, I pass 0 and go all the way to the negative side. So it's -1, and then the absolute value, though, of -1 would be